Okay, can you view my screen now? Okay, can you all view my screen? All right. Okay, so just quickly, all right, regarding land acquisition. So when we spoke about land acquisition, okay, land acquisition is more towards about land, okay, land administrator and the owner of the land, whom the land was acquired by the state authority or the government. Okay, so land acquisition briefly is a process whereby a state authority or the government acquires the land of a private owner. Okay, so basically in our federal constitution, okay, Article 13, okay, guarantees the right for everyone to own a private land. Alright. However, in some circumstances, alright, for public development, okay, kalau you all tahu yang macam contoh, okay, ambil tanah sikit, kalau contoh rumah you all, tempat tanah you all tu dekat dengan public road, so government boleh ambil sedikit portion tanah you all tu untuk for public interest, for public development, okay? Anything for public, okay? For the interest of public. Okay, so land acquisition is a process whereby a state authority or the government acquires the land from private owner. Okay, maksudnya state authority dah bagi dah tanah tu kepada the owner of the land kan, kita lah individual. Tapi due to some development for public, okay, the land was acquired. Okay, so bila land was acquired, okay, some people, some citizens will feel unfair. Alright. However, under Article 13, there are two options laid down in the Federal Constitution whereby the private lands can be acquired by the state authority or the state government. So what are the exceptions? There are two exceptions, okay? You refer yang I dah boldkan bawah tu, only two saja. Such deprivation ataupun or the acquisition is done in accordance with law, or a private landowner is adequately compensated for the compulsory acquisition of the land. So maksudnya ada acquisition, ada adequate compensation for the private landowner. Alright, so barulah fair kan? Okay. So basically governing law regarding land acquisition, there are two. Land Acquisition Act 1960 and Land Acquisition Rules 2017. Okay, for your exam, okay, this topic masuk. So that's why I nak highlight juga kat you all. Okay, however, the act tu was not provided by jabatan. Okay, so what you have to do is you hafal lah dia punya section dan juga konsep. Okay, actually kalau you all tak hafal section, okay lah, I okay so far. Sebab National Land Code pun confuse kan section dia, but have some attempts lah. So kalau out of 15 steps tu, you hafal lah 1-2 sections untuk step nombor 1, nombor 2 macam tu. Okay, tapi I takkan deduct marks lah kalau tak ada sections, as long as you laid down all the steps. Okay, so regarding land acquisition ni, more or less it's emphasized on forms. Okay, forms. So the procedure based on case Robinson, once the machinery of the acquisition has started to operate, subject to the power to withdraw, the owner of the land has no right to object to the acquisition. Okay, and only have interest in compensation. Okay, why? Because the acquisition is the power, okay, enumerate, okay, for state authority to acquire the land of citizen. Okay, so kalau kita object, there are certain circumstances lah, alright, yang masih boleh di-consider, right? Consider apa? Took into account, okay? However, such objection usually made to the court. Okay, because this is against state authority. Okay. So let's see the procedure. Okay, procedure dia Taklah panjang sangat tapi banyak jugalah. Okay. Let's see, alright? Let's see. So the first one, first schedule, land acquisition rules. Okay. Land acquisition rules ni hanya untuk forms. Okay, tapi the idea of the provisions under Land Acquisition Act 1960. Okay, so the first one is under Land Acquisition Rules, whereby state authority make an application through Form 14. Okay, kalau you all tak ada sections pun, okay, you all hafal the Land Acquisition Act tu. Kat mana step yang rules, kat mana step yang act. Alright. So usually all semua ni under act. Okay, akta. A form sahaja govern under land acquisition rules. Okay. So second step, alright. The purpose of the acquisition must be for, okay. This is what yang I briefly mentioned just now. Public purpose, economic development, to benefit the public, okay, or mining, residential, agricultural, commercial, industrial, recreational, any combination of the purpose mentioned. So kalau yang bawah sekali ni, mining, residential ni adalah compulsory acquisition. Maksudnya memang you dah tak boleh dah duduk atas tanah tu. Memang government kena ambil compulsory. But usually compulsory ni always ada order of the court. Okay, so kalau you dapat question tu, you tengok. Okay, ada order of the court ke tidak? Alright? So kalau that's for public development, public purpose, so that falls under section 3, sub 1, sub A. Alright? Sub A to C. So A tu public purpose, B tu economic development, benefit to the public, C for the compulsory acquisition. So, after the state authority makes the application through form 14, okay, the next step is to publish a notice of intention to acquire the land in Government Gazette. Okay, that means state authority kena publish the notice intention. What's the purpose? Because they nak kena notify the public. Okay, notify the public ataupun orang yang affected tu lah, the private land owner. Okay, that the state authority is acquiring the land for what purpose? Okay, sometimes for projek besarkan jalan, so dia still kena bagi even seinci pun. Biasanya tak adalah government ambil seinci, dia kena ambil like 4 to 8 foot meter kan, macam tu lah. Alright, so the forms involve form A. So section 4 sub 1 land acquisition forms involved for this notice of intention is form A. So section 52 provides that the government must give notice to the public in a manner prescribed in the act. Okay, in the manner tu maksudnya government gazette. Okay, so kalau you all mention the notice of intention by the state authority must be gazetted in form A to acquire the land. That's correct dah. Okay, dah ada full sentence dah. You all terus dapat marks full for these steps. Okay, kalau nak buat satu-satu pun boleh. It's up to you. As long as when I see the keyword, the features tu ada, then you all get the marks. Right? Okay, now moving on. So dah lepas bagi notice of intention. Okay, next step, the state authority, okay, or the state director notify and authorize the land to be entered and survey. Of course, sebelum buat apa-apa pembangunan, you need to survey the land kan. Alright, so section 5, okay, survey in form B. So next section 7, okay, under the act, the land administrator prepares a plan, okay, a plan and list of lands to be acquired. Okay, maksudnya contoh dia perlukan ambil jalan sepanjang berapa kilometer dia kena ambil, 10 kilometer. So 10 kilometer plannya ni dia together lah dengan consultant, okay, dengan land surveyor. So this plan must be supported with list of lands acquired. Okay, so maksudnya contoh 10 kilometer ada 5 tanah. tanah private land owner kena ambil. Selebihnya tu tanah government is okay lah. Alright. So, dia 5 tanah individually kena ambil, so acquire kan. So, dia kena bagi notice to these people. Alright. So, dia kena ada tulis lah list of lands to be acquired tu dalam pelan tersebut. Okay. So, then this together with Form C will be submitted to the state authority. So, siapa yang buat benda ni? The land administrator. Okay. So, Form C. So, you all nampak tak? Sebelum ni kan, Form A. And then Form B, Form C. Form tu dia berturutan je. So, next step. Then, the submit ke state authority. State authority will then decide which land is to be acquired before proceeding. So, maksudnya walaupun dah ada list land tu, dia check balik. Okay, sebab nak ambil tanah orang kan. So, state authority kena check balik. Betul tak tanah ni yang perlu. Okay, for the purpose. Okay, you cannot just take anybody's land. So, contohlah jalan tu panjang macam ni. You nak buat jalan tu lurus ke? Kalau lurus, ambil tanah orang. Apa kata kita bengkok sikit? Boleh tak? Okay, sengitkan sikit. So, tak perlulah ambil tanah dia. Macam tu. Alright, so that one is under section 8. Alright, and still the state authority need to publish or gazette it. Alright, in Form D. Gazetted maksudnya apa? Warta. Okay, so maksudnya dia kena inform kepada public. Yes, tanah ni dah digazetkan untuk diambil. Alright, so biasanya kalau you project kan, kita ada apa tu? Papan tanda kat depan kan. So dah inform everyone. Gazette ni proses dia panjang lah. But I will not explain to you all lah. Tu macam administrative process lah. So there ada seal and on. Okay, ada chop semua. So basically the state authority will declare what land, okay, to be acquired and gazette in Form D. Alright. So dah after all, so dia dah tahu dah mana land nak acquire. Okay. So land administrator buat apa? Pentadbir tanah kan. So dia akan keluarkan, alright, register. Okay, dia akan register which land intended to be acquired. Okay, and then dia kena endorse dalam dokumen title. Dokumen title apa? Geran tanah. Okay, geran hak milik tanah. So after all the gazettes, then the land administrator need to register and endorse the land to be acquired in the document title, section 9. Okay. So next, section 10, land administrator gives notice to public, occupier, registered proprietor, or any other persons whom the land administrator believe to have interest in the land in Form E. Okay. So tadi semua notis tadi tu dia bagi tahu kepada public sahaja dulu. Okay, public. Okay. So under section 10, specific. Okay. So dah bagi tahu public kan, including sekali lah proprietor mesti dapat tahu sekali kan. Okay. So section 10 ni dia akan bagi public. Sebab apa? Sebab lepas ni dia akan buat valuation. Okay, valuation, market value. So kan dia ambil tanah. So mestilah dia kena bayar compensation. So Form E ni gives notice to public or the registered proprietor, any other person who has registered interest on the land. Okay, so this forms is under Form E. Okay, section 52. So moving on. Okay, so dah lepas bagi notice, land administrator will fix hearing date. Okay, so hearing date ni untuk apa? Untuk for this interest person, okay, everyone yang ada registered interest on the land tu claims for compensation. Okay, kalau ada objection ke, kalau ada compensation ke, objection kita pergi later on, okay, kejap lagi. So this kita cerita pasal kalau uncontested, okay, maksudnya kalau the registered proprietor tak contest lah, okay. So compensation, okay, so land administrator can also ask parties to submit evidence of their interest in Form F. Okay, so biasanya evidence ni tunjuk geran tanah lah. Ya, saya lah owner tanah tersebut. Okay. So dia akan tengok tanah ni ada caveat ke, tanah ni ada apa-apa jenis caveat. So macam mana nak ambil acquire this land tapi ada restraint of dealings. Okay, so all those land administrator akan investigate. So that's why after they gazetted it, land administrator will fix hearing date. This hearing date, the parties, okay, kena datang. Okay, because I have cases parties tu tak datang, lepas tu dia object. Tak boleh lah, because you have the opportunity for the chances for you to argue, okay, to voice out your opinion against land administrator. So you kena pergi, okay. So this evidence is under form F, okay. Okay, oh sorry, okay this one. Sekejap ni redundant ni. Ni inquiry, okay. Section 12, inquiry. Okay, so tadi dah panggil hearing date kan? So section 12, step 10 lah. Okay, step 10, inquiry will be done. Inquiry ni apa? Dia macam investigation. Okay, so land administrator dia selalu akan buat dengan jabatan penilaian. Okay, jabatan penilaian tanah ataupun harta negeri. Okay, so dia akan assess the amount compensation to be awarded. Okay, so after step 10 ni semua pasal awarded. Okay, award ni maksudnya nak award lah compensation kepada the registered landowner yang affected tersebut. Okay, so section 14, upon completion of the inquiry, a written award will be prepared in form G. Next, the land administrator will then serve the written award to any person who has an interest in the land. Again, dia kena notify. So this notification under form H. Alright. So section 20, in any urgent basis, okay, in the case for any urgent basis ataupun circumstances yang memang urgent, emergency lah, okay. So the state authority can acquire the land by giving notice via Form I before the compensation is awarded. Okay, a notice will then be given via Form J to the occupants or owners of the land to vacate the land. Okay, so ni kalau in the cases of emergency. Contohnya, okay, daripada kampung A kepada kampung B, hanya lalu satu jalan kecil. Okay, jalan kecil ni pula tanah, tepi-tepi dia tu sungai. Okey. Tiba-tiba tanah tu runtuh, kan? Jalan tu runtuh. So macam mana kampung A nak keluar, nak pergi kampung B? Contohlah belakang kampung B tu barulah jalan utama, main road, kan? So macam mana kampung A nak pergi kampung B? Dah tak ada jalan, kan? Takkan tiba-tiba nak beli bot, kan? Lalu nak menyeberangi sungai. Okay, what if kalau sungai tu ada buaya? You all tahu kan, macam contoh sungai Linggi kan, buaya naik atas jambatan kan. So it's quite dangerous for public. Okay, so the state authority have to acquire a land, okay, for the public interest. Okay, so state authority kena carilah tanah ke ataupun bina tanah. Kalau dam tanah buat jambatan, still you still akan ambil tanah kampung A kan, kampung A sikit, kampung B sikit kan. So tanah siapa yang state authority acquire tu kena bagi compensation. Okay, so for urgent cases basis, form I, form J. Okay, so tu je. So kalau yang tadi basically kalau macam common cases, the land administrator will serve the written award under form H. Okay, so moving on. Step 13, okay. Once a written award is served, the land administrator will then take possession of the land by serving notice to the occupier of the land via form K. Okay, sebab barulah the occupier of the land. Occupier ni termasuk landowner ataupun ada rumah-rumah dalam tu. Okay, probably kena vacate ke ataupun just to inform. Okay, kalau tak ada affected, just ambil sikit portion of the land, tak affected rumah orang, tak apa. So, diorang tak perlulah vacate the tanah. Okay, kalau kena ambil keseluruhan tanah, ada rumah lagi, so the occupier tu kena vacate the land. Okay, so some will ask, so kalau contoh dia dah bina rumah tu atas tanah tu, then state authority ambil tanah tu sekali dengan rumah tu roboh lah nanti kan. Okay. So dia nak duduk mana? Okay, state authority bila buat compensation, dia akan provide. Okay, dia akan provide a house for them to duduk. Mungkin tak dah semewah, tapi dia tetap akan bagi ganti rugi. That's why the importance of attending the hearing date. Okay, and inquiry. Yang tadi. Sebab tu kena datang hearing date dan inquiry, investigation. Okay, so moving on, the land administrator, step 14. So moving on, the land administrator will also serve notice via Form L to demand the holder of the document title to be delivered to him. Okay, so ni kalau ambil the full portion of the land. Okay, kalau ambil sedikit tanah, endorse sahaja. Maksudnya dekat dalam dia punya geran tu akan di-endorse lah tanah sikit ni state authority dah acquired for public interest. So nanti the RDT, okay, ingat lagi tak RDT, IDT? Okay, IDT dekat landowner, RDT dekat land office. So dekat land office tu akan endorse lah berapa bahagian tanah dia tu yang dah acquired by the state authority. Okay. So settle. Okay, so ada 14 steps. Okay, so you all hafal the procedure. Unfortunately, Land Acquisition Act ni tak provide in final examination. Okay, so I dah request pun tak dapat. Okay, so you all hafal lah, right? So I'm lenient on this matter. You all tak ingat section pun, kalau ingat the content of the steps pun okay, alright? Saya dah bagi hint lah tu. Benda ni masuk final exam. Okay. Okay. The factors in determining compensation. Okay. So yang ni for your additional understanding. Okay. And depends on the questions. Okay. So factors in determining the compensation, Schedule 1, Section 2, Land Acquisition Act. Okay, so basically the market value of the land, any change in the value of other lands, okay, any damage or negative effects sustained by the owner due to the acquisition, expenses incurred, okay, and work done on a portion of the acquired land which benefits its adjacent unacquired lands. Maksudnya, bila contohlah tanah saya yang kena ambil, okay, sebelah saya ada tanah Joel, sebelah saya ada tanah Fasiha, kan? Okay, so bila tanah saya kena ambil, buat jalan. Okay, so Joel punya tanah, Fasiha punya tanah akan increase in the market value. Okay, sebab dah ada jalan, so diorang senang akses. So kalau Joel jual tanah tu, orang yang beli tanah tu senanglah dah akses kepada road, kan, public road. Kalau Fasiha jual ke, Fasiha sewakan ke, boleh letak sewa tinggi. So this issue, okay, pun akan diambil kira untuk memberi compensation kepada saya yang tanah kena ambil. Okay, so the market value of the land and the change in the market value of the adjacent lands owner. Okay. And then of course expenses, sebab saya nak kena cari rumah baru, tanah baru, kan. So expenses, okay, any cost incurred, any damage, effect sustained. Okay. So factors not considered in determining, okay, so tadi Schedule 1 Section 2, so factors not considered Schedule 1 Section 3, okay, Land Acquisition Act. So factors yang will not be considered adalah the time frame, okay, time frame ataupun the period of the process. Land acquisition it takes a long time, okay, can be more than a year. So the time frame tu panjang sangat, kan. However, this will not be considered in determining compensation. The keenness of the parties to part with land, maksudnya contoh proses tu boleh settle dalam setahun, tapi disebabkan ada dispute dekat mahkamah, ada objection, okay, anything that delay the investigation, contohnya MCO, PKP, okay. So the period and the willingness, okay, willingness ni willingness lah, okay, willingness of parties to separate with the land tu will not be considered in determining compensation. Okay, moving on, any damage to the land caused by stranger during the process, any depreciation in the value, or any improvements to the land unless such improvement is necessary for the maintenance of the building. Okay, any improvement ni maksudnya contoh tanah tu dah mendap, okay, and then you put pasir atau tanah baru. Okay, so orang kata improve the infrastructure. I kurang sikit kalau term-term ni. Tapi that's how the process is been lah. Okay, improvements tu maksudnya untuk you jadikan balik tanah tu boleh diduduki. Macam tu. Alright? So yang tu will not be considered. Okay, last but not least, the remedies. Okay, for example, in the situation that the landowners dissatisfied with the compensation awarded, okay, maksudnya, oh, you beli tanah I 60,000 je, you ambil portion kan, portion ni banyak kan, so tanah ni kalau I jual boleh dapat 500,000, so I tak puas hati. So where, okay, what is the avenue for me? So section 38 sub 3 sub A, if the landowner is dissatisfied, okay, with the compensation awarded, so dia tak satisfied, not satisfied, the landowner has 6 weeks. Okay, so it's about 1 month and 2 weeks. Okay, the landowner has 6 weeks from the time the award was made to submit a claim to land administrator via form N29, okay, N29. So under section 38 sub 5, the same act, the land administrator will then refer the matter to the High Court via form O, okay, for determination. So section 40, capital A sub 3, the court will then proceed to appoint 2 assessors, one from the list submitted by the state authority and the other from the list submitted by the landowner. So the court will appoint 2 assessors. So 2 assessors ni can be the surveyor, okay, untuk check lah tanah tu. Usually from Jabatan Penilaian value tu lah, penilaian harta atau tanah, okay. Kalau daripada landowner, lantik independent or private consultant. Okay, so section 40 capital D sub 1, the court will then determine the amount of compensation based on the assessor's opinion. If there are 2 conflicting opinions, the court will choose one of the opinions and award accordingly. Okay, so the court akan ikut natural justice, okay, principle of law, natural justice. So dia akan pilih lah mana yang fair to the private landowner. Okay? Sebab state authority acquire the land kan, usually kalau cases macam ni dia akan bagi lebih lah kepada landowners. Section 40 capital D and section 49, however, the landowner needs to bear in mind that the High Court is the final recourse on grounds of compensation for the land acquired. This ground cannot be pursued further even if the landowner is unsatisfied with the final compensation awarded by the High Court. So this was in the case Kalamas against Pentadbir Tanah Batang Padang. Okay. So the landowner tak puas hati, so dia rayu balik, okay, ke mahkamah tinggi juga. But then the court said that the compensation tu dah diberikan, so he need to accept it as it is. Okay, so that's why masa hearing date, masa inquiry kena datang, okay, deal negotiate dengan state authority on the ground of compensation. Okay, alright, so any questions so far on the land acquisition?